Welcome to another Pow Pow World video. If you don't know what Pow Pow World is, in short, I'm creating my own creature collector world inspired by the likes of Pokemon, Digimon, and other monster tamers. The collectible critters of this world are called Pow Pows, and on this channel, I'll be showing you how I designed them as well as building out my fictional world piece by piece. I highly recommend starting from the beginning if you want to be up to date with everything, but otherwise, let's continue on with the video. For today's video, I will be showcasing two-stage Pow Pow lines. There's no real theme to the Pow Pow presented today, other than that they're filling out more of the world. I also want to talk a bit about the world more at the end of the video since I haven't really been addressing it lately since I've been so focused on pushing out designs. But I think world building is fun and it keeps me interested in this project, so I really want to start giving it more attention. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. Now, let's get into the designs. For this Pow Pow line, the second form came first, but as always, I am showcasing the first stage. This is probably the simplest and fastest Pow Pow I've designed yet. Barely have time to talk over the time lapse. Pebbo, the Pebble Pow Pow. Pebbo can't really do much, but they also don't need much. They make excellent pets to young Pow Pow captains who are not really responsible. So yeah, there's not really much to this little Pow Pow. It's based on a pet rock. I just thought it'd be silly and it works well for a pre-evolution for this next Pow Pow. Because I'm just starting out, I think it's good to make a filler Pow Pows just to round out the world a bit more. Since once we have a more substantial amount of designs, we can start being more picky with which ones we decide to keep. So let's get into its evolution, Claymo. Another Pow Pow that came from a silly little doodle. I knew I wanted to do some sort of Earth Golem for Pow Pow World. Golems are such a staple monster in fantasy worlds, and I wanted to have my take in here for Pow Pow World. Since golems tend to be depicted as stoic or slow, I wanted to play that up in this design. I imagine it kinda having a Snorlax-ish vibe, mixed in with the Buckingham Palace guards who stand super still, since golems often play the role of a guardian. But I imagine this one more enjoys being a guardian because it involves a lot of sitting and a lot of do-nothingness. Meet Claymo, the slothful guard Pow Pow. Claymo enjoy doing absolutely nothing. It is rare to see them move at all in the wild. Even if they move, sometimes their movement is too slow to be detected by the human eye. So here are two more Pow Pow of the silly variety. I think Claymo is pretty solid, but I'm not sure if Pebbo is really necessary. Let me know what you think. Down the line, I also may take a stab at doing an evolution to Claymo, since I do want to make a more guardian-worthy golem, but maybe that'll just be a different Pow Pow altogether, since I like how lazy and stupid this design is. This next design was created because I need to make some Pow Pow for the Cosmic type, a type that is somewhat unique to my world, at least when compared to Pokemon. So I wanted to make a Pow Pow ASAP that could represent the typing. I started off with this lion doodle that had a mane shaped as a star, but I thought wouldn't it be better instead of it being a lion, it was a sea lion? Since I could better imagine it swimming through the galaxies as a sea lion rather than a real lion. I think that decision was really crucial and really helped better sell the Cosmic type for this design, especially since it's the first Pow Pow introduced with this typing. I also want to keep the star since it's very space related, but it also kind of reminds me of a pool floaty, which I think is cute for this design. Starlion, the swimming star Pow Pow. These Pow Pow love to drift through the cosmos. People like to pretend Starlion are shooting stars and place wishes upon seeing one in the night sky. I was quite happy with how the design started and where it ended up. I like how the name still kinda incorporates that it started out as an actual lion, but now it's a sea lion. But it's not in the sea, it's in space, so I guess it's more of a space lion. Anyway, let's move on to its evolution. The natural progression for a sea lion Pow Pow was a walrus Pow Pow. But I leaned into more manatee-ish shapes since they're a lot cuter and friendlier looking. I also did a walrus/lion looking sketch because I thought it would be kind of interesting to maybe incorporate the lion part of its original design that I ended up ditching. Plus, a sea lion turning into a lion would be kind of fun and unexpected. But I ultimately found myself more drawn to the cutesier, chubby little walrus manatee doodle. So I decided to expand on that doodle. I wanted to play with its neck rolls, having a mini galaxy constantly orbiting around it with some stars in it. I was trying to figure out how I wanted to represent the galaxy component, since representing the shape of space is a bit difficult. I thought maybe clouds, but there is no implied orbit or rotation. While this could be fixed with animations and such, I think it's good for the design to read well as a still image. I went for this floaty looking shape, which kind of mirrored the star floaty in its previous form, and I used lines to try to demonstrate movement within that floaty shape. But it just looks like a big neck pillow thing and not like a mini galaxy that is more fluid and like spacey. I really wanted to push for movement in this next attempt. I went for this more tornado-y looking shape and added some galaxy bits around it too, so it wouldn't be just one big neck pillow all over again. I think this was looking better and closer to what I originally imagined it having when I thought of a swirling mini galaxy. But the more I looked at it, I thought the tornado-y shape was just a bit too chaotic, especially for this mellow, peaceful looking Pow Pow. I took another go at it and brought back the floaty looking shape from before, because it was a lot smoother and rounder, which echoes the shape that already exists in the rest of the design. But this time I incorporated the galaxy bits that are swirling around it, and I think that really brought it together. And the design was pretty much finished from there. Walrustar, the mini galaxy Pow Pow. Like the stars orbiting around its neck, Pow Pow and people find themselves drawn to Walrustar's gentle and kind-hearted nature. The amount of stars Walrustar has in its orbit is said to represent all the friends it has made. We have our first cosmic types in our collection of Pow Pow now. I'm really happy with how they turned out, and they represent the cosmic type really well, I think. They're exactly what I imagined for the cosmic type when I was initially thinking of adding it as a typing. When showing my friends previews of Pow Pow I made, almost all of them liked Walrustar, which is great because it doesn't play towards any of my personal biases, so initially I was worried it wasn't good or it wasn't going to be liked. But even I have come around to appreciating its design. That's kind of the hard part when I'm the only designer. I might end up making Pow Pows that only I enjoy, which is fine, but I would like for there to be a bit of everything for everyone to enjoy. And I think Walrustar is a good example of that. It's why in my last video I included Arachmind as a Pow Pow, even though for me it doesn't really strike my personal fancy. But I think that is a solid enough design that someone may like it. And that's kind of how I felt about Walrustar too. So these are our new Pow Pows for today. A small batch this time around, but I think they're pretty fun. I feel like they both have that derpy charm to them. Let me know your thoughts and feedback to them. I think it'd be fun to rate them based on how much you like them too, if you don't have any words to say about them in the comments. So like you can rate them F or B-, or even the coveted S+, or simply 0 to 10 works too. And don't worry about hurting my feelings, it doesn't at all. Everyone has their own opinions and preferences, and I love seeing how the tides are leaning. So be sure to comment that below, or anything at all. In addition to helping the channel, I just enjoy reading them and knowing there's a real person behind each of my view counts on the video. Oh, and let's talk about world building stuff. Specifically, I want to talk a bit about setting. For a while, I thought it was no question that it was going to be set in a pretty modern setting. Pretty much the time period we're living in now, in present day. Similar to Pokemon. But since I am always trying to separate Pow Pow World from Pokemon, and I have been playing Tears of the Kingdom, I thought maybe a more fantasy age setting might be fun. So think Avatar Last Airbender or Dungeons and Dragons, that kind of setting, where there's like no modern tech like cars or phones and TVs. While I was drawn to this idea because it really plays up the fantasy element, it takes away a bit of what I like about Pokemon. Because Pokemon is set in a world so much like our own, I could imagine myself doing my daily tasks with my Pokemon by my side. It's a small thing, but I just like how relatable it feels. Like maybe the Pow Pow themselves are fantasy element enough without the setting needing to be. Plus for setting purposes, I think it would be inconvenient not to have some of the modern tech like TVs or cell phones. Plus, Pow Balls currently look very new age tech, and I don't really feel like changing it to a more primitive look device. Plus, as far as designing my characters, and even Pow Pow, I would like to have more contemporary designs applied to them. I definitely could not design fantasy looking apparel. Clothes are hard enough to design as is, but fantasy clothes are on a whole nother level. But more importantly, it's just not my preference. My thinking is maybe to try to meet somewhere in the middle between these two worlds. The setting of One Piece immediately comes to mind for this specific scenario. The world of One Piece kind of rides the line between modern and fantasy age setting. While there are boats of varying levels of advancements, you don't really see things like cars or modern technology. And things that do resemble modern technology like TV or phones are replaced by in-universe magical elements, in One Piece case, snails. Also, the characters often visit some advanced and urban islands, but also more primitive ones as well. And the designs of the characters can vary so much, but it's still all cohesive in the world of One Piece. So I would like my world to be a bit like that, kind of all-encompassing in a way. I guess I'm choosing neither, but also both, I guess. But this is all just thoughts for now, and I'm definitely open to changing it or revising it in the future. I have more thoughts on it, but that's the best way I can put it out without rambling on too much. The setting will definitely help guide a lot of the world building that has to be done, so it's really important to address it now. In future videos, I would like to discuss some more of the things that I've read in the comments, like are there legendary equivalent Pow Pow? Are there Pokemon gym-like systems? And all those kind of things. I've been brainstorming a ton, and I can't wait to share some of my ideas once they're more consolidated. But that's enough rambling for this video. If you liked today's video, consider giving it a like, or potentially even sharing it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, and if you already are, I appreciate it. But even more than that, just thanks so much for watching. And with that, I will see ya next time.